Hello folks, it's Abfielder here, back with a quick look at this week's snapshot, which is experimental snapshot number 7 for 1.18, the Caves and Cliffs update. First off, if you need to know how to install these updates, they're a little bit tricky. Link for that video is in the top right hand corner right now. The changes in experimental snapshot number 7 are rather minor this week, and one of them is a little bit controversial, so stick around to watch that one. But the first one's a good one. They've made terrain generation smoother, and that is amazing. I'm going to put the seed on the screen because people quite often ask me what it is, but that's beautiful. So biomes are smoother. There should be slightly less variation, but barely noticeable compared to last week. And I have to say, this looks stunning. There isn't too much variation. None of those micro horrible sort of biomes that we were seeing in earlier snapshots. So that is an improvement to me. But yeah, whether you can tell any difference from snapshot number 6, well, I'm not entirely sure. All I can say is it looks amazing. Right, for the next change, we need to go and find some mountains because noodle caves will now spawn higher up in mountains. Let's see if we can't find some. After much hunting, I finally found this peak area here, and hopefully we'll get something over Y130. And the reason we're looking for that is because noodle caves now generate above Y130. In previous snapshots, they did not. And what this change sort of gives us is when we've got the mountains, it means we can get into the cave systems now, regardless of the height. They're not that common, as you can see, or you might have saw there when I was doing the commands. I've been hunting around trying to find a cave or a mountain that goes above Y130 to begin with, and then also a cave that actually has some noodle cave generation in. Here we go. I think we've got some. What are we up at? 167. I have the screen small as I record. So I think we've got some there. And I think this is a good change because if you're up on a mountain, it was a little bit bland before. You would get some caves as you go up on mountains in real life. And I think this is quite cool. There we go. Imagine that in survival. I think that would look good. Obviously, I've got the night vision effect on. I know some people don't always like that in the videos, but I'm trying to show you the terrain generation, not the effect, not how they look when you're in survival. Right, we've got another mountain over there. We'll go and see if we've got some more noodle caves, and then we're going to move on to one change that's not that controversial and one change that I think is going to be a little bit controversial. And I'll go into details on why I think it's controversial once we get into it. But here we go. We've got some more noodle caves coming up to, we're up around 170 now. That is much, much better than previous snapshots. I like that change. That's cool. This is such cool terrain around here as well, which is awesome for the video. Right, we're going to go into survival mode now, and I'm going to put on the Elytra. I assume that's how everyone says it, but some people pronounce that different to me, but I'm going to say Elytra. So we're going to give myself an Elytra. Now, one change that they've made is that you no longer do damage to the Elytra when you're gliding. It no longer takes damage, so you don't need to mend or repair it as often. So let's demonstrate that by jumping off this mountain right now. And as you can see, I'm just gliding down and taking absolutely no damage. We'll land somewhere here because the next thing is the controversial thing, but you can see absolutely no damage. Right, I'm going to get myself some fireworks and then I'm going to go on to the controversial change. So I have a bunch of flight duration free rockets, and I don't know if you can tell this, but I can tell it flying around. When you fly with rockets now, it is slower than it was in 117 and 116 and before. And Mojang said they've done this for several reasons, and I think only one of these reasons is true. Number one is they want you to enjoy the beautiful new terrain. Maybe true. I don't think it is. Number two is that flying with rockets means that the other modes of transportation, like, running or horses, is basically redundant when you get an Elytra and rockets, which I guess is kind of true. I still use ice roads and stuff in the nether. But the third reason is the reason that I think is the only reason that they have really done this, and that's because chunk loading is too slow when you are flying with an Elytra and rockets. You can see as I'm going there, it's struggling to generate the new chunks. And I'm on a pretty beefy computer, and this is only going to get worse in this version because of the differences in the height levels. So they've slowed down flying because chunks don't load fast enough. To me, that's controversial because I think they should be trying to fix the code to load chunks faster. They should be looking at ways to to improve the efficiency of their code, not just arbitrarily slow us down because they can't fix that or don't want to invest the time to fix that. I'm not happy with that change. Folks, what do you think, Dan? I think that's a controversial change. I think that causes problems with, well, not problems, but makes gameplay slightly less fun when you get to those sort of end stages, when you've got unlimited rockets and you've got mending and breaking on your Elytra. But can I just say the terrain around here is absolutely amazing. I put the seed up on the screen earlier. You can see my coordinates in the top left. Honestly, come and check this out. But yeah, let me know what you think about the change to the rockets. I'm really hoping they revert this change. Anyway, folks, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. Please consider subscribing to the channel. That's all I've got time for. I'm Abfielder. Goodbye.